Yeah, you know what? It's just like now I understand how to become a gold pro.
All the secrets exposed.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't mess with my hair this time, so that's good.
Well, neither did I.
All right, so it looks like OBS did crash, but I like this move. This is like a cool move. I think we're gonna move to the the winners interview.
The robot interview. I think we're gonna name the next season something like Jarvis against the world.
Yeah, right.
Like every round is gonna be someone else trying to defeat Jarvis.
Season 3 featuring Rudy Brixa as Jarvis U. Octo Jarvis versus the world. I'm just so misunderstood, guys. Like, that'd be great.
Invite Mike Long as he.
So, joining me here is Jarvis U, winner of the Legacy Premier League Season 2. And, I don't know, something winners interview. So, Jarvis, why did you choose the decks you picked? In the finals, you only got to play one of them, but we had in reserve lands, red-green lands, which a deck you're known for, and then Food Chain, I believe. Yes, that appears to be accurate.
Alright, so I picked Grixis Delver because I think it's one of the best and most flexible decks in the format. Especially when you build the deck slightly bigger. I have 19 lands in my deck, which is half for the deck. And the reason I picked Food Chain was it's kind of just an overall solid deck all around. It's a lot like Bug Control with a combo kill is how I would describe it, or Bug Midrange. So it's bad matchups are like other combo decks, but I thought there was a fairly good chance that Caleb would not bring 3 all-in combo decks. So I picked Food Chain as a backup. And red-green lands I saved in reserve in case if Caleb ended up playing some like greedy 4-color control deck like Check Pile or Grixis Control or Bug Control, or even like Bant Deathblade. Those are all notoriously weak to lands in Game 1 especially.
So, other decks that we didn't quite see from Caleb, because in his first set, well, he also advanced through. He won his group stage, and then he played quarters and semis. And I don't think we got to see all of his decks in the quarters or the semis. And I know in the semifinals he registered a Tin Fins list.
Oh, jeez.
And then for this, he preliminarily submitted Manaless Dredge, but then changed his mind on that. How do you think you would have done against Tin Fins as one of his 3?
As Grixis Delver, I think that's actually a fine matchup and only improves a lot post-board. I don't know his exact build. Like, Chancellor can mess with Surgical Extraction, but I definitely think I would describe that as a favorable matchup for Grixis Delver. And not so good for lands, and probably not great for Food Chain, although it improves a lot post-board as well.
And then, speaking of sideboarding, I noticed a couple metagame choices, shall we say. From your Grixis Delver list, you had a Singleton Null Rod, which hasn't seen much play since Sensei's Divining Top has been banned. Would you say you had any other Caleb-specific meta choices in any of your lists?
Yeah, actually. I think the Sulfur Elemental was mostly for Caleb's Monastery Mentors. And also, like, it has like splash damage versus like, Death and Taxes, although I don't think that's a very Caleb deck. And the Null Rod was because I saw him streaming a bunch of the, Mishra's Bauble, Arayo, whatever nonsense. And like it also has splash damage for Storm and Death and Taxes or like some random Aether Vial deck. I think it's just like a good catch-all card. I normally play Uma's Always GTA in that spot, but I decided not to this week because I didn't think Caleb would play decks that were especially weak to GTA.
You touched that it was the most flexible deck in the format, you thought, but do you think Grixis Delver is the best deck in the format in this post-Miracles meta?
I do. I think I think Miracles was keeping Grixis Delver down by quite a bit. And just Cabal Therapy is extremely good. You can even build it to play Stifle if you want to. Like that's better versus certain decks like Storm, whatnot. It's just like it feels a lot like a Jund deck in that if you know what you want to play against, you can have a really, really good sideboard, and all of the cantrips in your deck help you find your sideboard cards very often.
One of the issues that Grixis Delver has faced in the past, at least from my experiences, is sometimes it has difficulty closing out a game, but I noticed you have 2 True Name Nemesis instead of the typical 1, or sometimes even 0, and then the Singleton Tombstalker over what is generally Gurmag Angler.
Alright, so when you add a 19th land, the 19th land I added was the 3rd Black Source, which enables you to play, I think, a Singleton black card in your 75. This is obviously not like rigorously defined, but I believe that you are able to do that. And the reason to play that and 2 True Names is that often in Delver Mirrors and in other matchups like Elves, it's really easy for all of your guys to get brick walled. So by playing a flying creature and 2 mini Progenitus, like you can just basically get around all of the creatures. Yeah, I just found this entire week to be an interesting exercise in metagaming your decks, or actually not metagaming your deck selection, but metagaming your sideboarding, I think, is more important. Because one of my strong beliefs in Magic is that it's more important to play a deck you know very well and to just tune it to beat other decks, rather than to try to audible to a deck that you've never played. And because you'll just miss lines, you won't know exactly what your deck is capable of, and you'll probably cost yourself more percentage points than the perceived metagame advantage.
I know Caleb takes a slightly different approach to that. He told me...
Yeah, no, but I believe Caleb has... I mean, he's a full-time streamer, and I work 40 hours a week, so I think our approaches are forced to be slightly different. I think Caleb has enough time to pick up a new deck and learn it if he wants to.
That's fair. Yeah, he told me at the end of last season, where he defeated Julian Naub, that if Julian didn't choose Elves, that he thinks Julian would have won. If that wasn't one of his 3 decks.
Yeah, but the thing about Grixis Delver is that it's especially hard to hate out, I think. Like, it can play so many roles, and I can choose to speed up or slow down my deck, essentially.
Yeah, I think it might have some issue with opposing True Name Nemesis, and then equipment decks occasionally. Sword of Fire and Ice and Jit are real good against it.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I almost always play a bunch of Diabolic Edicts and True Names. And Edict also for opposing Merit Lodges. Mm-hmm. Like, I know a lot about Merit Lodging people, so Edict is basically the best answer in those colors, because Submerge is not reliable, especially if your opponent's smart.
Yeah, sometimes it even flips a Delver and gets rid of a Merit Lodge in the same phase.
Oh yeah, that play. Yeah, I kind of mind gamed him there, I guess. But I guess he had to go for it because his hand was not very good. And just hope I messed up. But there was basically no chance I was using my Wasteland there without having Edict on top of my deck.
Yeah. And there's been some rumors in the chat that I'm starting to agree with, that you may or may not be whitelisted. Do you care to comment?
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I did play a Legacy side event at Grand Prix Cleveland last week where I mulled to 5. My opponent cast Portent targeting me, and it was my only land. My land was on top of my deck, so I had to force his Portent. Then I untapped, played Underground Sea, Deathrite. He brainstormed on his turn 2, I dazed it. He didn't play another land. I ate the fetch land out of his graveyard, played Ponder, and wastelanded his only land, and won like 7 turns later. So, yes, maybe I'm whitelisted.
I mean, that Portent on you sounds incredibly greedy.
Also, I'm just forced into Force of Willing it because it's my only land. Mm-hmm. But yeah, maybe I'm slightly whitelisted. I would like to be whitelisted in a Pro Tour, though. Like, I think that it would be much more valuable.
Well, there's a saying, better lucky than good, but I prefer to see it as better lucky, comma, than good.
Yeah. That's the Luis motto, isn't it?
Quite possibly. Well, thanks for joining us for Season 2, and thank all of you for tuning in. It's been an exciting 10 weeks, and hopefully we'll be back for Season 3.
All right, looks like we're back. Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful interview. You know, like when Jarvis talks, it's kind of like poetry. He just says like so many cool things. I would like to be whitelisted at a pro tour. Great guy. So congrats to Jarvis once again. 3-0. Ridiculous win rate with Rixus Delver. For people in the chat confused about what to play, maybe sign up with the, good old Delver Secrets and Days and see how far you get.
Maybe
Julie?
next league, like keeping up with the tradition of renaming the league every season, we're gonna name it like the Legacy Delver League or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then just have like a picture of Jarvis in like one of the things. Oh, that'd be pretty cool, just like have his face circle around, like let people know he's the champion, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it would be pretty sweet. Like an idea I had for the next season was to have a player token card like SCG does for the winner. So I guess technically because he's so not much known for playing lands, he would have Marit Large as his token.
True.
Looking at his performance, did we actually get to see Jarvis play lands even once? I'm not sure. I think
No, I don't remember him.
He's considered probably the best red-green lands player in the world, and he hasn't even utilized
that's ambitious, because I know Daryl Ayers in the chat's probably like, what? And there are a lot of good lands players, actually. Like, at least in the States, there are like 4 people that I'm exclusively scared of.
Yeah, but hasn't Darius sold lands on Magic Online like 4 times in a row or something? Like every time I talked to him, he was like, "Oh, I sold the deck again," and I don't know. I mean, just like looking at results, wow! Like Jarvis, he almost made his 3rd Legacy GP top 8 with lands there.
And like the only reason he didn't, he was 13-2 at the end of the event, but like tiebreakers is what kicked him out of the top 8. So I mean.
Yeah,
absurd
it's
win
pretty
rate.
Tragic. Like he even told me before the match, or was it like right after the match, that he already knew he was gonna be 9th place because of the way that people decided to intentional draw and stuff. So he knew he was gonna be 9th. That's I don't want to say heartbreaking because he still has 2 Legacy GP top 8s, but getting the 3rd. Does anyone have 3 Legacy GP top 8s? I'm not sure. Like there's a couple of guys that have 2. There's like Philip, there's Saito, there's Jarvis.
Bob was mentioning that like Owen was in the top 4%, top 2% or top 1% of Legacy GPs, or like had finishes in the top 1%, but I don't know if that necessarily correlates to 3 Legacy GP top 8s.
But Owen had one in 2007, I think. It was GP Flash, where he for some reason played goblins. Then he's got like this blue-red Delver, blue-red Stoneblade deck that he piloted, and was it Washington or something? And he might have a 3rd, I'm not sure.
Yeah, now I remember the True Name one with 20 lands and a Delver deck, and everyone was like, "What?" I mean, or maybe I was like, "What?" But I mean, yeah, that was that's 2. I don't know about the other ones, but
yeah. So to wrap up the league, if you are still in the chat and if you're watching this, let us know what you liked about the league. Also let us know what you didn't like, except for like how bad certain people played, like you. Yeah, I mean, you don't read all the feedback all the time, but sometimes people are like, "Oh, this is crap because this person, he made a mistake there, and like I'm never gonna watch your league again." Like, okay. We are sorry. Some people didn't know that like LPL doesn't stand for Legacy Perfect League, and I mean that's the beauty of Legacy. It's sometimes so tiny decisions that you have to make that are going to have huge impact on the rest of the game plays. And if you get to see both players' hands, and I mean, we are both, as commentators, like guilty of being in a position where you're like, oh, this is such an easy decision. But when you're in the game and you have to make the decision, it's not that easy. So yeah, definitely let us know like what you disliked about the league in total, what you like to see improved. Like, are there any features that you would like to see for a new season? Are there any players that you want to see? Is there like a different format that you, not as in a different like Magic format, but in a different tournament format that you would like to see explored. Let us know about that. Like right now, message Mike or me on Twitter. Mike is at Flusterstorm. I'm at itsjulian23. Go to the website, use the contact button. Let us know about that, or I don't know, talk to us in person if you ever see us. I guess it would have been a good thing to do in Vegas. But yeah, Vegas was amazing.
There are a couple of events coming up. I think Prague is soon. Is that also Legacy?
Yeah, Prague is by the end of July, I think. So there's still 4 months to go. 4 weeks to go. So yeah. If you're in Prague, say hello.
Cool. And then as we wrap up, one more time, thank you so much to our sponsors who made this entire season possible. We're looking at 3 people in particular: Jeffrey Palmer with Living Cards MTG. I mean, all the animation that you see here, it's the opening intro, that's all him. This guy is spectacular, does a great job. Some of the animations you see on GP coverage, that's him too. So, I mean, I've already commissioned some stuff from him for my stream. Anybody else who's interested, reach out to the guy. He's really, really cool. Also does play some amount of Legacy. I actually played him in Vegas. That's how we met. It was crazy. We just signed, he was wearing the shirt, and I walk up to my round, and he's like, Honorog? Small world. I'm Jeffrey Palmer. And, we got to play some Magic. Shout out to Card Hoarder. Thank you, Nathaniel from Card Hoarder, for sponsoring us with our prize support. That was super, very, very nice. And then also loaning cards to us too to make this possible. I mean, Legacy can be expensive at times. Most of us do have the cards, but when we don't, if we want to play with something new, you really helped us out with that. Super appreciate it. Definitely check out cardhoarder.com for any of your MTGO needs, and then also Isle of Cards for paper needs too. That'd be super sweet. And then lastly, and you guys know who I'm talking about. We're talking about the one, the only, the hunk, Matt Pavlik. Thank you so much for your donation too. We appreciate their sponsorship. Hopefully we'll see all 3 of you guys helping out next season. I know we are. Wow, beautiful. Hopefully we'll see all of you guys. What's up?
That's Jeffrey in Vegas, yeah.
Yeah.
As you can see, he's involved in a lot of projects.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Jeffrey is a man of many talents. You know what's crazy is that he taught he taught the graphical animation, he just learned it by himself. So
he did?
Yeah, well, he learned a little bit, then applied it, then learned more, then applied it, and so basically he learned it all himself almost. Yeah. So that's pretty sweet. So this was a great season. I hope to do commentary next season. We'll obviously be giving out updates as we plan this stuff along. I mean, seriously, guys, we want the next season to be even greater than this one. We're looking to invite as many big name players as we can. We'll have updates on how we get more players in and stuff like that. But on that note, Julian, Mike,
Yoshi,
Yoshi, really good job this season. I'm Honorog Das. This is Julian Nab. We are with the Legacy Premier League. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.
See you next season.
You were Robo Jarvis based on the Honorog comment. I'm not sure if you've had an opportunity to check out any of that thread in the LPL group.
God, let's go look.
Because I think you were in Cleveland the day I posted it. The 25th, which was Sunday. Yeah.
It looks really fake. Guess that's the point.
But yeah, so the one in the video link, with
On my fencing pictures,
yeah.
I'm like, that looks really weird. I think that picture is real old.
Yeah, I had to get a little creative.
Yeah, actually, a professional photographer took that picture, so that's why it's so nice.
The version I had was the one with you holding the lightsaber and Darth Vader helmet.
Oh, that was photoshopped by Mishra's Photoshop,
Yeah.
actually. That is quite a picture. Yeah, I guess it's fine. It looks a little bit fake, but I guess you can't really avoid that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's supposed to look a little artificial too.